Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 with Black Ice. We are, of course, playing as France. The British are moving their units around through us now that we're allied. Okay, some United Front stuff. Popular Front, very good. That will really help us out. Okay, we now have the research treaty. Okay, yeah, we'll do another slot. I'm going to slow this down just a little bit there. Yeah, down south in Aquitaine. Hello, the Duke guy. How you doing? We're seeing if we can save France. Okay, Char B1 bis. Here we go. Let's look at our production. What are we producing for tanks currently? Okay. Yeah, we're going to switch over to our just these guys. There we go. Get them in production so that we have something a bit more modern. Light vehicles, that would be the Hotchkiss thing. I'm leaving the artillery being out of date. Just want more of that, and well, I guess we could do field uniform improvement. Where are they? Oh, there. Okay. So the World War I field uniform, well, started out with blue jackets and red trousers, then goes to a overall powder blue uniform. World War II is a very similar uniform, I believe. The jacket's a bit different, yeah, but a similar uniform, but in green by World War II. So we're looking at a little more optimized for modern combat. So now this will be different when we go to war with Germany. I presume we will. Can we go on the offensive effectively? Can we move up and defend the Rhine? See, now that's an interesting... Even if we're not strong enough, say, to bust in and conquer Germany, we might be strong enough to do some limited offensives and get the Rhine River as a defensive line. Okay, we're no longer under the effects of the agreement. We're getting better, we're getting better. Try to declare war on there, yep. I think we'll get a Marco Polo Bridge incident notification very soon. And that's who they just declared war on. Yep, there we go. Yes, Tour de France, 1937. France comes in first this time. They were second last, with Belgium taking first and third. Italy is second, and Switzerland is third. Medical research, very good. Now, we we did that because we want to gain a base stability of plus 10% so that we can do other things in other areas. We're still just expanding our military production. Almost caught up on armored cars. Well, let's do uniforms. We don't need an aircraft designer that bad. What we might want to do is... oh, give it more consumer factories, though. I don't know. We want more stability, though. Yeah, we want more stability. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, well, we've got all three of those artillery. One's worked out. Haven't gotten radios yet. Nothing really to see over here, so back to here, and we will do anti-aircraft cannons. We'll shoot those nasty flying planes out of the sky. We have another research here. Okay, aircraft. Now we're really pushing into 37. Yeah, or I mean 38. Yeah, now's I guess the time to do this. We'll do the MS6 or 406. So we get that in production a bit early, maybe. Yes, the B1 BIS, we are researching it. We already have the B1. Now, I haven't put the B1 in production yet, but we are still just France and still badly underdeveloped. Follow Beiping, El Salvador. Good. We'll take a look at this in a moment. Well, I guess there, we can't spare anything. I'm in the we can't spare anything. Research treaty, good. Okay, no, we want to do this one now. And also from the research treaty slot, let's do radios. And okay, so we got the research treaty there. We may do economic cooperation some point. We want to do buy heavy water. Not that we want to do that, but I want to get this other research. Where do we want to do the... oh, 70 days, 70 days, 70 days. Well, let's do that. Oh, man. Choices, choices, choices. Can we look at China? Excuse me, certainly. So we have Japan pushing here. Oh, you know what we might want to do is, do we have enough political power? Send that. Oh, we need 60. Oh man, I'd love to send an attaché. And so Japan is pushing here, which is their puppet states have gained a little bit of territory. They've done a naval invasion just north of Qingdao, and done a naval invasion down at Yongjia. So they're pushing on that. The Spanish Civil War is just holding out in Madrid. Okay, well. Love to wait for a little while. If we get a good economics minister or political advisor that would help us with political power gain. Government funded reporter. Weekly war support would go up, yes. We have this guy here. The silent workhorse would be very good. So pushing a little deeper in there, they've lost that toehold. They've done another naval invasion, Japan has done down there. Now, historically, Japan was kept being warned away from the Shanghai area. They did have troops there as part of the international concessions. And basically Japan maxed out their sort of, I don't know whether you want to call it allowed or acceptable levels of troops there. And a couple of times they did sort of react very heavy-handedly to incidents, including, assassinations or assassination attempts on Japanese, and then sort of burst out of their sort of area and go round up a bunch of Chinese. During this time period, you see a lot of nations, the U.S. included, is increasing their military presence in Shanghai area because of not just the idea of Japan doing something bad around here. And everybody knows that none of the reinforcements are going to stop a determined Japanese invasion. That isn't the point. The point is to have a strong enough force to stand up to any local, the Japanese contingent, and any small sort of local incident. That would then mean that it has to be a major incident, and then that might, an outbreak into a general war and try to stop that. Okay. Yeah, let's dump in another civil factory. We'll dump that in Paris. Just because various things are happening that are affecting that. I want to... Yeah. Let's start producing these guys. And we are going to be getting 4 military factories down here, which is good because we can hold the Italians off. It's a protected production zone, as it were. Okay, develop Algeria, very good. Now, yeah, heavy water, but that's just really, yeah, that's where I want to go, but let's look around here for other options. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm hoping we have time enough to get to some of these others. Economic reform. Well, we could do some of this now. Spirit inflation, budget deficit law. Yeah, let's continue the plan. Get the research slot. Now let's get the sharp B1 in production. We'll be switching that to the BIS soon. Carrier bombers. Let's go with tempted to do a naval bomber, but go with a light bomber. And how are we on aircraft for various? Yeah, light bomber, we'll get those in production there now. Yeah, let's do 2 of those. Oh, we're down to just 1. Okay, well. One of the reasons I still have most of my army sitting here is that we may go to war with Germany over Czechoslovakia. in 1938, so I am trying to be prepared for that possibility of a rapid push into Germany. Yeah, let's do improved infantry weapons. Fall of Nanjing, probably not Nanjing, but yeah, not. For some reason this province here is called Nanjing, but yeah, Shanghai. So they've invaded Shanghai, which, like I say, is not historically correct. That whole area, I would have it off limits until Japan really goes to war with Western allies, or the Western allies are really at war with everybody else. And I might even make Shanghai its sort of own little city province thing. HQ communications, very good. Okay. Radio, but we're going to do that now. Sort of like you have this Hate here. Do something like that. Or as some mods do it, you know, a Danzig separate kind of thing. Do that for Shanghai. The National Congress triumphs in provincial elections. Now, I would really, not minding the 70-day research on some of these that are happening because they are such big projects, but I would move some of the other ones to even shorter time periods. Yeah, I think that would be good. And then just make, keep you just from rushing through all of them. Give you sort of not before particular, you know, dates. So not make them, you know, maybe need to get, you know, the previous, you know, prerequisites to get there, plus not be happen before a particular date. So you just can't like, oh yeah, we got all these, you know, 7-day projects, you know, boom, 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 go through them. No, that's not what I think should happen. But just make like some 5-7 day projects that you can do, but without a massive cost. Research production efficiency growth speed. That will be nice. Italy storms out. Char B1 bis. Okay, we've got that. We have very limited choices here. Well, I guess we could do some armor techs here. That will help out. And let's come over to production and actually start producing the BIS version, yes. The Sharpie one. 6 a year, yeah. That's what we need, 6 a year. I think some of these ramp-up times are awfully slow. Okay, back to military factories. How many of the R35s are we producing a day, a week, a year, whatnot? Okay, 3, almost 4 a month. Not that we're ending yet, but tomorrow I will be streaming on Twitch only some War Thunder. I hope you guys will join me both in watching as well as playing. Love to have you come and hang out with me. That's definitely an audience participation show. We'll get people in there. War Tinder or no. Okay. And Thursday of next week, I will be streaming for Slytherin. Panzer Corps 2. January, computing machines. Yeah, might as well do these early. Okay, now that we can do this, I'm going to do political advisor, silent workhorse, which is going to get more political power faster. So hopefully it will get me to the, because it might, again, infrastructure first, get the political advisor going, which will get the economic ministers faster, as opposed to get the economic minister now and then get political advisors after we, not, okay, Yugoslavian fighter competition. No, we're not going to do that. Buy heavy water, very good. Now, yeah, come over here. We want one more research slot. Well, Parti Radical, the Liberals, are massively popular right now. The Conservative Fédération Républicaine is mildly popular, and the Social Democracy is fading. Agrarian is fading slightly. I think they were at 9%. The Communists are down at 12. They had been at 14, and the Far Right League is what they're calling this, is hovering around 5%. Now, it is true. I personally believe, you know, and it what it is varies from culture to culture. But I personally believe most people, and you know, I call it like the radical party here for liberals and whatnot. I mean, how radical is it compared to the communists? Not that radical. The conservatives, not, you know, far right and whatever this little sliver of Action France says, 1%. Party leader, Emperor Louis Napoleon. Okay, so these are two sort of far right. Well, we can talk about fascism another time, whether it's far right, but most people are not naturally extremists on either the right or the left. It's only when centrist parties start to fail at their job do people become radicalized, whatever the party, you know, titles may be. So it's the failure of the sort of liberal and conservative ideologies. Um, and there's different ways of using those terms, but on the sort of basic level, liberals are, you can talk about classical liberalism, which might be a conservative viewpoint in some countries like it is in America. But if you talk about just general liberal, let's just try new things. Let's just, hey, it ain't broken, but let's see if we can make it better. Let's just tinker with the system a bit more. Where the conservatives want to conserve whatever the sort of status quo is. And so what the status quo may be like in modern day Britain is to have the NHS, the National Health Service, have, government medicine, because they want to conserve what they think is working well. And so conservatives and liberals can change from country to country and region to region. But most people would fall into this sort of realm, maybe a bit more, into social democracy. That's where they want to do. But when that fails, that's when they move to the radical parties. That is the time that they're looking for that. So we must be doing something reasonably right. We're almost up to 50% stability, having been down at like 8-9% stability before. Still no real interest in going to war, though. Okay, improved infantry equipment. And so we dug ourselves out of that stability hole that we were in, partially from confronting Germany, but there were other... there's not really much I can do here, I guess. We can do static AA, we can push on there, put our scout planes. Yeah, let's do static AA. Yes. Nobody revolted, right? Trump failed. Oh, LP is, you're back. Well, we're going to see what happens. Things going forward. It's going to be interesting in the next couple of years in America. I don't think people realize how interesting it's going to be. Yeah, conservatives. And, and that's all, the liberal and conservative is a relative term, where communist or monarchist have defined definitions. Now, you may have different monarchist ideas. In Britain, they want, what we often call a constitutional monarchy or monarchy with a parliamentary democracy, or you may want, and especially going way back in time, not, a couple hundred years now, but going back to an absolute monarchy. There can be variations, but we all know it's a monarchy kind of thing. And then communism, sort of proper socialist. Again, there's a difference between social democrats, which are, generally speaking, again, and it changes from country to country, are people who want a market-based, a capitalistic economy with lots of social welfare programs. So most of the means of production, maybe things like the healthcare system may be owned by the government, but maybe the medicine production may be owned privately. It's highly regulated, but maybe, and then, medical equipment, whether it's respirators or scalpels, may be private companies, but just only selling to the government hospitals. But social democrats want a market-based economy with primarily private ownership, but with lots of social welfare programs, institutions. Whereas socialists and communists and fascists and National Socialists are all flavors of socialism. National Socialists are not Marxist socialists, very true, and fascists are partially Marxist socialists, but definitely standard socialists and communists are all socialists in there, and it just becomes to the degree of the lack of private ownership. Under a general sort of socialist system, you could own a small business. But if it gets too big, too much of the means of production, you're hiring too many people, it becomes a state-owned enterprise. Where in gets too big. Where in communism, it's basically everything's a state-owned enterprise. It's a entirely centralized planned economy, where socialism doesn't need to be an entirely planned economy. So it's just sort of degrees of the same thing, and how that's set up. And there's a lot of differences within that, but it's all sort of a definable socialist, communist, all sort of definable as coming out of Marxism, basically. And so, as opposed to conservative and liberal. Those are, much more relative. Take a total British relation. Okay. Brits are still insane about their royal family. Well, the royal family has done very well by them, have kept them together. They take a toll on British relation to the economy. People would like to be, or sure, anti-crown. I mean, yes, bye. Okay, see ya, LP. You just sort of need to understand that, because there's democratic socialists and there's revolutionary socialists. Democratic socialists want to get to power through democratic means and through building a consensus within society, meaning get the overwhelming majority of the people to agree with them. And they're willing to take years, if not generations, to do that. Then you get revolutionary socialists, generally often called communists, are willing to do that with a minority rule and, violent overthrow of government and rule through force and not consent. Okay, so now we're in 38. We do that medium bomber. I still want to do those, but I just don't know that controlling the Mediterranean is, with bombers, land-based, is going to be much of a thing we need. I think it's just going to be fighting off. Let's do this, because we are making those. We may switch over to that. Hey, my sister tricked me back, though. Okay. Don't know exactly what's going there, but all right. And don't be confused when people, we're democratic socialists. They're still socialists. But we're for a social democracy. Okay. That means you just want, have lots of welfare programs. And tax, live off of a capitalist economy, tax it heavily. Okay. Different things, very different things. To an outside person, it might sound like the same thing because they may want the same social welfare programs. But there's a big difference between a free market economy and a socialist economy. Now, why does the Belgians think there's enough of a threat on them from us to put forces along our border? Through destroyer screen tactics, which will allow me to improve my convoy sailing procedures. And so how is Japan doing in China? Okay, so they pushed all out into here and down to there. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please do so. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me over on Twitch. Hit the button over there. I really love hearing from you, so you can post comments below. But I think we're going to come to the end of the episode now. I want to say thank you, and see you next time for even more Hearts of Iron.